So if you had told me 15 years ago that I would have the honor of presenting at the Autism Science Foundation's Day of Learning, I never would have believed you. In fact, 15 years ago, I'd never met a person with autism. And now, thanks to tennis, a sport that I've played my whole life, I can dedicate my work to helping children and families with autism. In 2008, my wife at the time, Shefali Jeste, was completing her child neurology residency at Boston's Children's Hospital and seeing a lot of patients with autism. When we learned that there really weren't that many sports and play-based programs that catered to children with autism. At this time, I was completing my MBA, as you just heard, and I'd been working in the tennis industry for over a decade, and I was just ready for a new challenge. The idea of a tennis program for children with autism intrigued me. So Shefali introduced me to some of her patients and families, so I could test the idea of a tennis program for children with autism. This is a picture of Zoe. Well, I guess I have to do that, don't I? There we go. This is Zoe. And she was the first child that I met with autism, first person actually. And I recognize that Zoe does not reflect the whole autism spectrum and that there are a range of abilities and challenges that children with autism may have. When I first met Zoe, I could tell that she was nonverbal, that she struggled with attention, she had low muscle tone, and many difficult behaviors, which to her being thrown out of several sports programs. In Zoe's first tennis lesson with me, she was distracted with the clay. She wanted to touch it and feel it. She liked the way it felt. When I gave her a tennis ball, she put it in her mouth and she tried to bite it. And then when I tried to help her hit a ball off of a tee, she dropped the racket and ran away. So I learned very quickly that I was going to have to adapt the way tennis was going to be taught to children with autism. Over the course of the next few months, I adapted my ways with Zoe and learned about visual schedules, visual modeling, prompting, and Zoe made slow progress over time. And I was noticing improvements in her attention, her racket skills, and I was starting to realize that it would be feasible to design a program that catered to children with autism. So in the fall of 2008, I founded ACEng Autism. And we're on a mission for children with autism to grow and benefit from fitness, social connections, and have fun through an affordable program. So we've created a standardized curriculum that is made up of 9 steps that includes a warm-up routine, some hand-eye coordination drills, some racket skills, working on volleys, ground strokes, and we finish up with games. We make it a very predictable environment for the participants, eliminating stress. Within each step, modifications are made to accommodate all the levels and ensure that every child has success learning tennis skills. Every child is paired with 1 or 2 trained volunteers, and the program runs 6 weeks, 6-week sessions in the fall, winter, and spring. And volunteers are trained how to correctly use a visual schedule, visual modeling, prompting, and to break down skills to make them easier to learn. And also to incorporate social interaction between participants. And the 3 pillars to our program are exercise, socialization, and fun. So I'm going to show you, I think it's a 1-minute video of a clinic, just so you get a feel for what it looks like. Back to your line. Yeah.
Marcus, wait for you. Come on, Jaden. Yeah. No, if you don't play, guys.
Ready? Nice job. Great job. Go.
Okay, let's go. Go.
Slow, slow, slow. So I'm gonna help you. And down, back it down. Okay, I need you guys to come back a little bit off the net. Can't touch the net. All right, one more.
Go for it. There you go. Stop, 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 stop.
Green light.
Yeah. High five.
And then you have to do 2, 3. So from the video, you can see that we use low pressure balls that are safer to use, and also smaller rackets that are lighter, but for kids need to use smaller rackets. And you also see that a lot of, the ages of the volunteers. We have some young teenagers that help us with the programs, and we've actually learned that working with volunteers that young is very helpful in our program. We currently have over 100 programs now in 34 states, majority being community programs that run on the weekends. We have our programs at schools, tennis clubs, college campuses, and we're prioritizing our school model now because we realized that we reach more children during the day while they're at school. The average size of our program is about 15 in a community program, whereas we have double that number, at least double that number in the schools. We're currently serving about 2,500 children per year, and we've had over 6,000 volunteers register with us over the years. And like I said, most of our volunteers are high school and college students. And we are aggressively expanding at the moment into more communities as well as schools with the goal of doubling our reach in the next 3 years. So the growth of our program has been extraordinary, and we're happy to serve so many children. However, we realized that to take our program to the next level, we needed to measure outcomes. This would not only help us with donors, but also refine the program based on data. And in 2016, we partnered with Dr. Reduta Wilson at the UCLA Center for Autism Research and Treatment. And we began implementing validated measures that are often used in autism intervention studies, such as Vineland, which measures daily living skills, and the Aberrant Behavior Checklist that measures problematic behaviors. And we saw that there were benefits, but these surveys were long and burdensome on the parents, and we realized we needed to actively think about how we can capture the impact of our tennis program for the wide range of children that we serve, and create a process that's best for our families. So we routinely use parent surveys, and we've been excited to see broad areas of improvement in both motor and non-motor areas. These results reflect data from about 300 parents per year for the last 6 years. And the greatest improvements are seen with tennis skills, motor skills, confidence, and social skills. And we also found that 78% of parents find this program to be meaningful for their child, and 64% felt excitement watching their child on the tennis court. So we also extended that survey to our program directors, the coaches, and about 65 of our coaches completed this survey. And we found very similar results with improvements in many of the same areas like motor skills, on-task engagement, and social skills. But I don't show it today. We have more detailed questions about each of these domains, such as types of motor skills. And this information has allowed us to take our next steps. So now we're building a sustainable system of evaluating our program over time. And to do this, we recently conducted a needs assessment with our stakeholders, namely the parents, the participants, the coaches, the volunteers, even some donors, and some of the foundations that support our mission. And the themes that emerged were socialization, inclusion, acceptance, peer-to-peer communication skills, exercise, overall health, and fun. And based on that assessment, we're now in the process of creating a measurement tool that we can to best capture both impact areas and also areas of needed improvement. And we hope to do this not only to ensure our program is serving our mission, but also to build a cutting-edge evidence-based sports program for children with autism. Ultimately, it is my goal that sports programs become a mandatory part of every child with autism's daily intervention. I'm imagining a scenario where pediatricians prescribe 2 hours of ACEng autism, tennis per week for children with autism. And then, let's see. So this, the last video is when I found out that I was going to be speaking here, I reached out to Zoe's mom and asked her to send me a current video of her playing tennis. So this was taken a few weeks ago. It's in the Boston area, and it's 10 seconds. So the next video. So yeah, so Zoe was, tennis player #1 in ACEng autism, and she's been in that program since 2008. And I would say on average, she's probably played about 20 hours a year. The program runs once a week. But when her mom, sent me that video, she said, look at what Zoe's able to do in the clinic, and then she said joint attention, shared enjoyment, social connection, motor planning, turn taking, direction following, self-regulation, and just plain fun. So thank you.
Question here. Sorry, I tend to always have a question. So first of all, this is absolutely incredible. And I wish that Ben had been a part of this because he's loved tennis.
Well, I think Ben was actually in that program.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, he did it.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you afterwards, but he did it for a few years in Stewart, our program in Stewart, Florida.
This makes a lot of sense because he's been obsessed with it because it was my sport when I was growing up. But I did see that there was some decline in mood statistics after the week. And I was just wondering, there's a lot of hard learned lessons in working with kids with autism. If you have a child that is really not benefiting from it, do they finish the week, or how did you guys adapt to that?
I think if it's a really good question. Thank you for asking. We've definitely had kids that won't want to walk onto the court, the first week. We had very patient volunteers. Sometimes we'll ask the parents to assist. Sometimes we'll ask the parents what they use at home to motivate their child. But usually, I think the beautiful thing about tennis is that you can bring the level down and meet them where they are and get them out there. And sometimes, I've heard stories where our volunteers will go to the car and, sit with the child in the car and bring them back out onto the court. So, in their own time, they have to become comfortable with the environment, get used to seeing so many new faces and a completely, new space. So I think, yeah.
Question in the front.
I'm wondering if you have found it, aside from your volunteers, who's running the program and what are their backgrounds? I'm an occupational therapist by professional training, and watching both the last presentation and yours, it feels like a really wonderful fit for partnerships with OTs and PTs particularly. So I'm wondering who works with you?
Yeah, no, it's a good question too. So our programs, because of my background in tennis, I think, that tennis network has definitely helped us grow, finding tennis professionals that have an interest or a parent that plays tennis that has a child with autism. So we definitely have that happening. But then recently, our growth in the schools has happened because of networking with adaptive physical education teachers that are, looking for curricula, other sports to teach their kids. So we come in, we teach them our curriculum, we give them the equipment, and then they run the program. But I would say right now, probably 70% of our program directors are certified tennis teaching professionals.
Any other questions?
I think what you do is amazing. I want to know, how do we get some program like this to come into our area? Because we're on Long Island and we'd love to have something there. Do you go to different areas of the country and how can we do that?
Yeah, no, we like I said, we aggressively expanding, to all communities, and it takes somebody to approach us and say, we want this here, and then we help you do it. So we provide the equipment. We're sponsored by Head Pen. So we give all the equipment away. We train you. We have some programs in New York already. We have one at the Billie Jean King Tennis Center in Queens, and one other nearby there as well. But definitely, if you know a parent that plays tennis, or if you are interested in a program, see me or go to our website. There's also a link there as well. Yeah, ACEngautism.org.
I think that's all for
Thank you.
questions. Thank you.